Douglas Murray, what about those who don't have that parental support at home but are terribly clever children who they need to be in a school, do they not, where it is seen as very important to be clever?
Well, look, what happens in this is that people mistake equality of opportunity for equality of outcome. All of us, I think, are in favour of equality of opportunity, that if you have the ability to do something, you'll be able through the system to rise up and get to the position you should be in, whatever that is. But what people do consistently, I think one of the gentlemen earlier has done it, is to mistake equality of outcome with that. Now, people are not going to end up with the same, in the same places. They're not going to end up with the same jobs because they don't have the same talents, they don't have the same abilities. And people consistently point to the fact that we haven't got the same equality of outcome and say there can't have been an equality of opportunities.
So why do we have less social mobility now than we did before?
There is one straightforward reason, it's already been touched on, which is the abolition of grammar schools. Nobody can pretend that the generation of politicians, writers, all sorts of people who attended Oxford and Cambridge in the 50s, the first time in their families, first time anyone in their families had gone to university in many cases, that these people didn't break the system. Now we have a new sort of aristocracy, a new Labour aristocracy, a sort of second generation aristocracy of people who keep their children perfectly well but don't allow.
Professor.
They're the people, in other words, just quickly, they're the people who climbed up the ladder and then kicked the rungs away beneath them.
Professor Pring.
But all these people, they all went to private schools. The people who are talking all went to private schools, and yet someone who went to a comprehensive school like me knows what they're really like. And you all theorise, and you'll send your kids to private schools.
You went to Eton. I went to comprehensive schools myself as well.
And you don't seem to realise that...
I think I know my biography better than you.
Wait a minute, finish your point.
If the most privileged and powerful people, like probably the next Prime Minister, Cameron, went to Eton, and they send their kids to private schools, maybe Cameron doesn't, then who's going to know about what's going on in the schools? If we have a two-tier education
Gordon
system
Brown went to a grammar school,
where the richest people can pay to send their kids to good school, and the rest of the people have to choose between a grammar and a comprehensive, it's never going to be fair.
But people are paying now to live in the nicest areas,
well,
so they get the best comprehensive. Douglas, have standards dropped in education?
Look, people will always bandy around statistics on this one, but I just put the following as a suggestion for how to decide this one. Just go around universities in this country and speak to professors and tutors there, and say to them, in your career, have people coming to learn under you, have they over the years known more or roughly less than when you first started? I think you will find very few academics who think that people coming up to university in 2009 will know more than people in 1999, more than people in 1989. There is a reason for that.
Should we ask Professor Blakemore?
I certainly agree with that.
Is that right?
But I think there's an elephant in this room which we're not discussing. Selection of all sorts, whether it's for private education or for grammar school education, it really is a substitute for the bigger issue, which is the quality of school education generally, which has been in serious decline. And what parents... Well, parents are able to pay for their kids to go to private school or are desperate for their kids to have access to grammar school, really want is just higher quality education throughout. And the idea that people will rise from schools of other backgrounds in order to be able to qualify to get to grammar school, I think is wrong, unless the quality of teaching is there in all schools. It's education, education, education. I'm afraid
somebody said that once.
Whenever you have the argument about 98.5% of DNA shared with chimps and so on, it's the 1.5% that we don't share that matters in this. Yeah. It's the difference we have between the child and the chimpanzee.
What about the example, Douglas, in the zoo of the one in the morning, the chimpanzee was very calm, collected stones and collected pebbles and collected rocks very calmly, and then when the visitors came later on, started pelting them with
sensible aim.
Well, indeed, but isn't that it? Or the one that found a stunned starling and climbed to the top of the tree and tried to release the stunned starling. There are extraordinary examples which do make us think that these are pretty intelligent creatures.
Nobody's denying their intelligence. Nobody is saying they shouldn't have respect and so on. But I think that the claim that they should have rights or rights even equal to human rights, and we have to... I agree with some of what Peter said. I don't think we do need a Christian principle solely to find the reason why we shouldn't kill, torture and maim human beings. But I would sort of remind us, if we're going to have a debate about giving apes rights, I mean, millions of people across the world, millions of human beings have had their rights routinely taken away from them. Millions of Iranians have just had their rights taken away from them by their government yet again. And the moment that human beings actually have the rights we talk of, the right not to be killed, not to be tortured, not to be... What
Douglas,
I mean, you mentioned earlier whether or not this means that... I don't agree with the gentleman there who said that somehow if we gave apes rights, you know, we would be better as human beings, we would have more rights. I think quite the opposite. I think, I mean, referring back to what Peter said earlier about... Peter believes that the foundation for our moral system and the reason why we don't kill people is because of Christianity. I think that might be a fundamental for some people. But one of the things that's been established over recent decades and recent centuries has been the right not to refer to gods or holy books to explain why the human being is still sacred, is still, as it were, holy. Even without a god, human beings are still unique and still, as it were, sacred. And yet what is happening here is somehow the attempt to equate us with animals, to pretend that we are just like them. I think that most people know in their hearts this isn't true, but I think we should be very careful of this, because it is arguments like this that equate us with animals that make it harder, strangely enough, for other human beings to claim that we ourselves are just animals.
Some animals are quite like us.
Hutus and Tutsis in the 1990s, when they were slaying in Rwanda, were being treated like animals. And now I just think that the moment,
that's a part of human nature.
The moment, as I say, that human beings know how to treat each other, we can be more sacred about that.
Douglas.
I don't know, I just want to ask our artist friend who's selling off a one-bedroom flat cheaply. I mean, like most people in my generation who've left university in the last 10 years, I wish I could upsize to own anything on the property ladder. I'd happily downsize.
Get rid of some of your books. I'm sure you've got a few books.
I own books and clothes, and I think that's about it. I could sell that off fairly swiftly. But look, I mean, the point is that you always get stuck in this debate between the following. You get people who say, you know, we're too consumerist, we're too hedonistic, and so on, like the Pope, and then the people who sort of think that that's all you need in the world. Look, you know, we are more than consumers. I don't think really that anyone should quibble with that. We are not just people who spend money. There's no doubt about that. So to an extent, the gentleman here has a point. On the other hand, what we own is also a history of a record of our own thoughts, of our own memories, of our own experiences. If I were you, I mean, I would sell off all the things that were tat that I bought and realised that were rubbish. But photographs, letters, books,
memories, selling your memories.
I think memories around in our brain, not in objects.
I don't know. You've got a much better memory than I have.
Well, I mean, do you get out?